The literacy rate in the United States is only about 79 to 80%, and we are lagging far behind most of our competitors. China's reported literacy rate is about 99.83%, but more conservative estimates say it's closer to 92 to 93. Keep in mind that the global average literacy rate is 86%. Now, India's literacy rate is 81%, so they are actually about 1% higher than the United States, which is the richest country on the planet. The European Union ranges between 95 to 98%, and then Eastern Europe is about 99% across the board. To sum it all up, there is no excuse for the failure of the American educational system. And this isn't just political. The states in the Union with the lowest literacy rates are New York and California, strong blue, and then of course Texas and Florida, which are generally very strong red. And it's not just money. New York State averages about $30,000 to $35,000 a year per student, and look how awful those numbers are. And you might be wondering, how does a country that imports the smartest people from all over the world and has the best universities have such a poor educational system for the public? Some people say it's a cultural thing, that Americans just don't value education the way other countries do. And of course, people try to blame Democrats or Republicans, and there are some presidents that have set some very positive or negative trends, but this literacy rate hasn't really changed in the past 40, 50 years. Or maybe it's something more intentional or systemic. There's a great quote: "You can rule ignorance. You can manipulate the illiterate. You can do whatever you want when a people are uneducated." So that goes in line with corrupt business and corrupt politics. And we have been seeing this in concentrated doses for the past 5 years. When you have a large population like the United States and a huge chunk of that population not being able to read above the sixth grade level, then you have a huge demographic of people that you can control, manipulate, and utilize. Having a huge chunk of the American population from all political leanings and demographics allows the system to have a source of criminals to fill the private jail cells, and of course just people to fill the lowest jobs out there. Having tens of millions of people in this country that are functionally illiterate means there is a huge pool of people who could be influenced, brainwashed, and are just highly susceptible to any kind of propaganda. It's the closest thing that this country has to keeping a huge chunk of the population under some kind of enslavement. And money isn't the cure-all that everyone thinks it is. Look at the amount of money spent per pupil by state. And we see, like I said before, New York has $30.3 thousand, yet they perform so poorly. Look at Arizona, only $9.1 thousand. That's a small amount of money per student, yet their literacy rate is over 85%. And sadly, this is an excuse that a lot of political pundits use to cut spending on education. One solution I've heard people from both sides of the aisle mention is that we have too many school districts in this country. We have 12,546. We have more school districts than any other country on this planet, and no other country organized their school systems into all these little units that we have here. China centralizes everything. They don't have anything like school districts, and from 1949 to today, they had a literacy rate of 10 to 15% to what it is today, 92 to 99%. So in 75 years, they octupled the literacy rate of their country, while in America, we haven't been able to change it much in the past 50. In Germany, the school system is managed at the state level. In Japan and France, it's just an extension of the municipal board that manages the city. We don't need 12,500 different school district governments, but we do need teachers unions, and we also need to make sure that our teachers are actually being paid what it's worth to educate our children. But what we don't need is an extra layer of bureaucracy filled with these bureaucrats who value their own benefits, their own seniority, their own perks, rather than the betterment of our children's future. In 1930, there were 130,000 school districts in this country, with only a fraction of the population that we have today, and we consolidated that number to 1/10 of it, and we need to do that again. The only reason why there hasn't been any mass consolidation is because these boards of education do have a lot of local and political power. But having so many boards of education is not going to be a silver bullet, because there have been a lot of instances where boards of education have dissolved and test scores didn't improve. We've seen examples of this in New Jersey, in Arizona, Arkansas. But maybe, just maybe, not making a whole new government for a school district and letting it just fall under the purview of a municipality like France and Japan does, maybe a good first step. I also like to include as other methods of reform would be paying our teachers more, giving them better benefits, maybe holding the students and the parents accountable for having disruptive students who can ruin a whole class, allowing schools to actually discipline, suspend, or expel students that are threatening the teachers would be a good idea too. And then of course is an entire curriculum overhaul that we haven't really had in the past 2 generations, because we are walking into the AI generation and our students today are nowhere near prepared for that. I am the Geo Husar, and every American's ability to read should not be a political issue. Thanks for watching.